Peter, always a pleasure to have you on TRT World. What did you make of this? It seemed almost that it was like Trump verbalizing all of his angry tweets all at once at the same time.
In a 2-hour speech, he had a lot of time, didn't he? And it was just amazing. It was very unpresidential in some ways because there's been no other presidents I know that have on public television spoken that way and had to have themselves beeped when they use certain words, profanity. It's amazing that he was so going after almost everyone, including his own former Attorney General Jeff Sessions, mocking his Southern accent and just going after people in left and right. And to me, it seems to me he's lashing out. He's quite angry about what's going on, obviously. And I don't think he's being very fair about certain things when he accuses people in Congress of being unpatriotic, of being enemies of America. I'm not sure what words he used, but he actually claimed there are people in Congress who are not patriotic. That's the word he said, unpatriotic people in Congress. That is very dangerous to take that approach to intimidate people. He's threatening also to have declare a executive order to ensure that his type of viewpoints would be heard on campus by certain speakers. He's threatening colleges with cutting off their funding unless they allow extreme right-wing speakers to come on and speak on campus.
Yeah, but he's speaking very much to his supporters, right? He can get away with saying this kind of thing to the kind of people who are in that hall. That's always where he's happiest, when he speaks off the cuff and basically criticizes anybody who doesn't agree with him, and he gets a cheer every time. But what about the people outside of that hall? What are they seeing in Trump acting like this? Is it a particular tactic he's employing? Because you say that he's not basically achieving what he would like to. He's not getting his own way on so many issues.
That's the main reason, but also he wants to shore up his base. He has a very narrow base of support of 35 to 40% of the electorate, and he thinks he can win, especially if a third party or a third independent candidate runs in 2020. Such as Howard Schultz, for example, the former Starbucks owner. If he runs, he could draw some Democratic support away, and Trump is hoping to squeeze through with about 35 to 40% of the vote. But that's a long shot. He should be actually expanding his base by being more inclusive, by being more compassionate to people, and showing that he's really a human being that cares about everyone, not just his own base. So it's turning everyone else against him, and that's why his numbers are so low, which is quite remarkable for a president in the second year of his office.
Peter, what do you think is going to happen once Robert Mueller finalizes his investigation? What is the feeling? What could be the possible legal repercussions for Donald Trump?
Well, you know, Robert Mueller has been investigating for almost 2 years, actually, and that's a long time, and he's had a tremendous amount of resources. He's got very, very sharp people who are working with him, investigators, and therefore he probably wouldn't have taken this long if he hadn't have found that he has to be thorough. I don't know what he's going to come up with. We don't know because he's been very tight-lipped about it, very security conscious about it. And yet we know that it wouldn't have taken this long unless there may be something there. We'll have to wait and see when the report comes out. I think Mr. Trump is fearing that report and trying to lash out ahead of time and discredit Mueller and other people in the government who he thinks are, in quote, his enemies or whatever, a hidden state he comes up with. And he even labeled the media the enemy of the people. That's very wrong for democracy. So I think he's a desperate president at this point. I hope he can settle down and calm down and work things out, including with North Korea when he was there.
Peter, we're running out of time, but I really want to ask you about what Michael Cohen said to that congressional committee a few days ago, because while you say that Robert Mueller is tight-lipped, Michael Cohen produced a photocopy of a check, which he says is evidence of Trump engaging in campaign finance violations. So what about Michael Cohen's testimony and what the legal repercussions could be of that?
It was very powerful because many of these allegations are actually shown to be true now, especially when you produce that check with the president's signature on it.